Welcome everybody to this video presentation of mine, the seven trumpets and the fall of Babylon. I noticed that after the seven trumpets in the book of Revelation, we have the fall of Babylon. And in the Old Testament, the city of Jericho fell after they blew trumpets. And I think John is setting the same scenario up in the book of Revelation. And the question is, have we even had, are we in the trumpets? And that's what I'd like to look at today. Like I said, the fall of Jericho is like the fall of Babylon. It's preceded by trumpets, and so it could be a foreshadow. If you compare the city of Babylon with the city of Jericho, Jericho is in the way of the Israelite promised land. Babylon is in the way of the kingdom of God. Both fall after trumpets. Joshua's the leader in the Jericho situation, and Christ is the leader in Revelation. The seven trumpets are in 7 days with Jericho, and there's seven trumpets, probably 7 years in the book of Revelation. And both fall after a shout, and Babylon, after the nations shout, it falls. Rahab the believer escapes, and those who lead Babylon escape. And finally, Jericho is burned with fire, and Babylon is burned with fire. Revelation 18. So after the seventh trumpet, the seventh bowl, a great city was divided into 3 parts. The cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. So how do we know when Babylon will fall? It's after the trumpets, but how do we even know if we're in the trumpets? We need to identify these trumpets, and that's what I want to look at. Have we already entered the first trumpet? It says the first angel blew his trumpet, and hail with fire mixed with blood were thrown down to the earth. And 1/3 of the earth was set on fire, and 1/3 of the trees were burned, and all the green grass. Have we had fires in the last year, 2022? You bet we have. All over Europe, Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Greece, all over. We've had fires in Brazil. We've had fires in Australia. We've had fires in the U.S., in Texas, and California. So we've had fires, a lot of trees burnt. We've had droughts in the Middle East. So droughts, fires, and heat waves. Here, August 22nd, 2022, 3,358 fires were detected in Brazil. And what about the second trumpet? And a second angel sounded, and there was something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and 1/3 of the sea became blood. Now, if the first trumpet is literal, then the second has to be literal. This isn't just a spiritual mountain. And this looks a lot like a volcano to me. And it just happens in November 28th, Mauna Loa happens to be the largest volcano in the world, blew up in Hawaii in the United States after 38 years. And this is definitely a large mountain. In fact, it is one of the largest. It's actually higher than Mount Everest. If you go right from the top here down to the seabed, these volcanoes start in the sea and they just keep building. This thing is 33,000 feet, so it's higher than Everest. Now, I was connecting these trumpets, in the book of Revelation to the Feast of Trumpets. This year, September 26th, was the Feast of Trumpets. And in the Jewish calendar, this marks the beginning of the civil year. And so when they see a sliver of the new moon, then that's the beginning of the year, and it's 2023. And this could be how we figure when the trumpets begin. And it just happened, November 28th, we had this Mauna Loa volcano. And actually October the 12th, they had a big volcano in Italy called Stromboli. And 6 days before Mauna Loa, or after Mauna Loa, was a volcano in Indonesia. Then there's 3 in December in South America. So we've had lots of volcanoes. But it's not blowing up the whole world. But if you're watching, it could be one of the trumpets. The Feast of Trumpets, as I said, begins each year in the 7th month. And so this could be when, so these trumpets are a year apart rather than, like 5 years or something. This coming Feast of Trumpets will be on the 15th of September. But interesting, the third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and the waters. And this thing was called wormwood. And we know a little bit about wormwood. It's the same word for Chernobyl. So you get an idea why the waters and the rivers were contaminated. But what's interesting is this star falling, and it could be a comet, could be an asteroid. But here we have this comet that was seen last year, and we can look at it right now. And this thing is coming by, and it's nothing. But there was an asteroid they had found as well, just appeared here a few days ago, and it's supposedly going to miss the Earth. But the thing is, just things like that. And so it's nothing big, but this could be precursors to that third trumpet. And then there was the fourth angel sounded, and there was something like a third of the sun and the moon, stars were darkened, and and a third of the day was without light, and a third of the night. And you say, well, what are you going to call that? Well, I haven't seen in the past any literal moon or eclipses are either full or not, so it's not eclipses. But we have had power shortages, and here's one in France just at December 14th or something. They had a big power shortage in France due to the fact that they had a cold spell, and so they had to use more power than normal to heat up their buildings, because guess what? They don't have they're limited on their natural gas. And so this switch over and all these things are causing a lot of blackouts. And so this could be the fourth trumpet. And so I'm not saying we're into any of these yet, but these are the kind of things we should be looking at in terms of the signs prior to the fall of Babylon. And so it gives us a time scale. Why should we know that? Well, God says, come out of Babylon, my people. So why? Because it's going to be destroyed. So if you don't know when, it's like the thief. If the good man of the house had known what watch the thief would come, he would have watched. And the thief comes but to kill, steal, and destroy. So, Babylon is destroyed in 1 hour. So greater riches come to naught. Maybe this is part of what God has set up in Revelation. So his people can say, hey, let's get out of there. I don't know. It's just interesting. I just see these different possibilities. I hope you enjoyed this video and keep on the alert. God bless.